Hi, everybody, and welcome to another awesome, fun, interactive presentation that we have today. Today, we're going to kind of be working with a type of foam reaction. This reaction is often used in science in order to kind of wow friends or wow little young kids who kind of are still starting to kind of build an interest in science. It is a classic activity, especially used in elementary classes, because of the cool reaction that you can observe. You will only need a few ingredients to create something pretty extravagant. For today, we're going to do it on a little bit of a smaller scale, but with the right chemicals, you can actually make this extremely big. So before we get into it, let's talk a little bit more about the background. So as we know from previous labs, we are pretty familiar with hydrogen peroxide. We know that it is an antiseptic. It is often used within the medical field or even as a household medical ingredient in order to kill in order to kill bacteria on scrapes, cuts, whatever it is necessary for. But what really is hydrogen peroxide? We know that it is a liquid that is made up of hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms with the chemical formula of H2O2. It is often available in different strengths. Today we're just going to be using 3% hydrogen peroxide, because higher concentrations are available, but they are definitely more dangerous and must be handled more with care because of things that they can do. It is also really cool because it can break down when it is exposed to light, which is why it normally comes in a dark brown bottle, which is what we see here today, because if it's exposed, it breaks down. So what happens when hydrogen peroxide breaks down? Then it will only turn into O2 and water, which is H2O. Normally this breakdown will happen pretty slowly, but you can make this happen faster. And the way we do this is by adding a catalyst. For today, our catalyst is actually going to be yeast. Yeast is an organism that only contains a special chemical called a catalase. This catalase will act as the perfect catalyst in order to help break down hydrogen peroxide, which is what we're working with today. Catalase is also present in almost all living things, and when it is exposed to oxygen, it helps them break down naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide. Which is actually fairly cool. In Chemistry 1, we did do several experiments with yeast, so we should be a little bit familiar with using the product. So when yeast breaks down hydrogen peroxide, this means that hydrogen peroxide will actually rapidly break down into water and oxygen gas. This oxygen gas will actually begin to form bubbles, and these bubbles will usually escape from the liquid and pop up quickly as they can. By adding a little bit of dish soap in our experiment today, it will actually create more surface tension, which is going to allow us for those bubbles to kind of be a little bit more trapped, and that will create our foam. The foam will look kind of like a giant squeeze of toothpaste, and sometimes it is called elephant toothpaste for a reason, because it's a little bit on the bigger scale. And of course, depending on the ingredients you have as well as the chemicals you have, this experiment can be taken on a much larger scale. So some ingredients that we're going to be using today, I have gone over some of them. We're going to be needing an empty plastic bottle, of course. This is where our reaction will be occurring in. We're going to be needing some dry yeast. This you can just find at any grocery store in the grocery section. Some warm water, which I already have preheated. We're going to be needing some 3% hydrogen peroxide, which is what is right here. A measuring cup, a measuring spoon, as well as a large tub or tray to catch the foam. I'm actually going to be doing it over the sink that's right next to me. And then of course, if you want to do this outside, you can. However, I will just be doing it inside. But normally be sure that your location for the activity is pretty easily to clean. Again, kitchen, bathroom, things like that, or even outdoors. So let's get started. So first we're going to measure half a cup of hydrogen peroxide into our measuring cup, which And hydrogen peroxide, if you do not have any at home, this can just, again, be found at your normal grocery stores. I found this one at Walmart in your wound cleaning section. So you're going to take your half a cup of hydrogen peroxide and you're going to carefully pour it into your water bottle. Like that. Next thing, you're going to add a big squirt of dish soap into the bottle, which I have a big squirt. So let's go ahead and add a pretty big squirt. Would consider that to be pretty big. And then we're going to swirl it gently to kind of mix them around. All right. If you want to make the foam a single color, you can add a couple of food coloring. I actually am going to add 4, just to make it fun. So what you're going to do is you're just going to squirt it into the hydrogen peroxide, swirl the bottle again. But if you want foam stripes instead of just a single color, what you're going to do is you're going to put the drops along the inside rim of the bottle's mouth, which would be right here, which that's what I'm going to do. And that will kind of create that little toothpaste feeling that you can get. When you do drip it down inside the bottle, be sure you do not mix the food coloring, otherwise it's not going to do it what we need it to do. And a measuring cup, which we'll use a measuring cup again. Let me see if I can do our food coloring real quick. So I'm using yellow on one side. We're going to do pink. Ooh, if I can get the green open, we're going to do green and blue. I might have to add a little bit more yellow. Blue. And as you can see, that is just, oops, right there on the rim. Hopefully it doesn't pour down. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be doing in the measuring cup, we're going to take a tablespoon of yeast. Oops, my yeast is new. This is half a tablespoon, so I'm going to be doing 2 of them. But if you have a tablespoon, just do 1. So 1. So you're going to do a tablespoon or 2 half tablespoons of yeast. And then you're going to do 3 tablespoons of warm water. Again, for me, that's going to be 9. So that was 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now, go ahead and stir this. It says about 30 seconds. This way we can kind of mix the yeast around. It kind of smells pretty good, to be honest with you. It smells kind of, it smells like bread. Stir it around. Mine is becoming a teeny bit thick. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pour this yeast mixture into your hydrogen peroxide and dish soap, and then you're going to watch the reaction. So for this one, I'm actually going to turn the camera for you. And then, let me see if I can get you guys right over where it needs to be. Right here. Alrighty, let's see if this works. What we should be seeing is foam. Starting to foam up a little bit. The reaction is occurring. It is taking its time, but as you can see, it is increasing. This one, again, it's not going to be a bigger scale. You can do this on a bigger scale, though. And I know we're a little bit over time with the video, and that's just because the reaction time is taking a little bit more than I thought. But what you should notice is foam, and then with the food coloring, it should come out in color. And there it is. Again, I do not think I got the right food coloring. However, there you go. Have a good one.